messages. I just sometimes completely drift away from chat. I was 100% defined. All missions, all side missions, plus all upgrades. Jesus Christ, this sucks. Alright, let's go. Another hard lock? No, not this time, please. Not this time, please. Also, I'm still gonna be doing this mission here now. Right now. Side mission C1. Oh, that's a different side mission. I don't know which side mission that is. For some reason, when I play the slide games, they're fun games. I played them myself. I don't own the trilogy. I used to.
Nope.
Hey, Reese. Son of a gun. Yeah, I think it's actually good that I decided to not reset this run. The previous ones, I just kind of had to. But this one's fine. I remember failing this part like 2 or 3 times. No, the orb dupe glitch isn't allowed for 100%. You gotta do all the side missions and collect the orbs in their originally found location. I asked for record for this. Record at the bottom of this clip that you put. It's a little bit annoying that it won't have online mode. But hey, what do you do? That's actually very true. A lot of shit that can happen. Watch my six, why? Sick, my man. So glad they got it. Hey, crazy. Delicious noodles. I'm jealous. It's good that he hit me. If they would have hit Sig, I would have fucking died. Shit, dude. It's like a little currency for watching the stream. Power cell pops up. And if you click on it and collect it, you get 25 power cells. And those you can like spend anywhere. Back to Divinity, hey, it's good to have fun in your this is C5, I thought. Yeah, C3 is somewhere else. I don't know what I was doing. Do I add people on PSN? I do, yeah. I basically is there a maximum amount of friends you can have on PSN? Because if there isn't, yes, I just accept people. The thing though is shit that I mean just assume that that it's not connected, like none of my contents are connected to the internet actually. 1000 on Facebook. Alright. Yeah, I usually accept everyone because the console hasn't been turned on in quite some time. That's why. Oh, I see. Pictures. Has there been any ESRB or ESBR rating for Jake? 2, 3 on X so far, by the way. No, I remember we talking about that. Oh, they all got raided. Okay. Oh. Yeah, you can get to construction site early just like really. You can get to construction site early, yes, it just doesn't load. Like the cutscene doesn't load in. The one that would actually like trigger. Why didn't I hop onto that? I'm dumb. I gotta stop comparing against my best hero and compare against PvE. Oh, sheesh, your head. What is this? Alright, so this one mosquito in my room is really pissing me off. It's so cold. How are they still alive? Fucking creatures. Yeah, that would have been something getting it for the Jack, for Jack's birthday, Jack 2's birthday, but nah. I don't know what they're doing. Is that game not optimized just yet? It's so weird. What are you doing, Amazon? Or Sony? Hey, Groovy. Or Sin. What did I Sin? How's it going? Yeah. Something must have messed up. Maybe I shouldn't have explored that glitch. Like, made that video and stuff. I don't know if they actually taken a look at that. Obviously, it's not me. I'm not the one responsible for it. But just saying, right? If you wouldn't have exposed that glitch so much, be like, haha, look at how broken Jack is for PS4. Maybe they would have released the games by now. Maybe they were already done. Now the 50-60 hertz thing is fucking everything up. That might be it. Gosh, I'm fucking tired. I have two PlayStation 4 games. Jack 1 and Batman Arkham Asylum. That's it. That's all I got. I don't have anything else. Maybe they seen my YouTube channel as well, and they were like, "Oh shit, we need progressive scan on as well. It's gonna fuck shit up." Because I have that progressive scan video on there. Progressive scan video on there. Maybe that messed it up as well. Shit, what phone? It's not right script though. Gotta undo this. send name, same as Twitch. It'd be nice if you could like tell me who you are when you send me requests or something. That would be useful. Like I don't keep track of people. Some people have different names online that they have on Twitch. It'd be nice if you could tell me, oh hey, it's this person. That'll help out. Okay, if you want to add me on PSN, it's Boomer Streams. Same name as on Twitch. How did I gold that? I fucked this up. I fucked this up last time. How did I gold this? Oh well. Okay, I'm usually not connected to the internet. Golds right here. I do that later. I do that in the late game. An optimized route rather would do that. The optimized route does that, yeah. But my own route does do it. Oh, okay, so he sends the same as Twitch. Yeah, sure. I know who you are, then you can have it. You're not going to see me online that much, I'm basically a wasted slot for like whatever 1,000 friends you can have. I'm a wasted spot. I'm taking this window. I like the sound of this window. And it just goes. It's hilarious. My god, I gotta figure out the audio of this mic. Something's wrong here. So what's my webcam? Alright, let's restart. That's not much of a problem. Full of cup noodles. Human Kentucky. Oh, I completely fucking missed that. Yeah, thanks for the reminder, PC. How about you don't mess up error rates? That's actually true, I just messed it up. Can't even deny that. Yeah. Like, I'm still a bit nervous when I do it these days. It's actually not that easy getting that gold. Watching the film. Date. Ah, see, The music's all low again. I don't have records. Little Meow Kitty, I don't have records. Not for this game. Not for this category. I have it for PlayStation 3. What did the Jack 1 have the Jack 4? Fucking hell. Played that game so much more. Vivo record, yeah. Yeah. Reese is the one with the record. Currently. Oh, I see. Yeah, I guess thanks because I'm about to set that record anyway. He's getting his ass beat. What time is it the route for this part? I wouldn't get so hyped just for this. So, what? How am I still alive after that? Jet Force in this game. Well, that'd be funny. Yeah, I'd fucking go for it. I'm not sure if that's gonna take me anywhere. Secret hover over claw. Just skip the fucking boss fight with all of it. Yeah, I could just skip the whole game. Now, I don't think you could hover to final boss, literally. I don't know. I don't think that's the thing. Alright, so what side should we do now? C2. Where's the C2 at? Satoon. C2. Boom, daddy. Hey, Tub, what's up? How you doing? Hello, hello. voice sounds so missing. Nice. What? What do you mean? Yeah, it's still the same mic, but I'm debating about getting a new one because I'm not happy with this. Debating whether I should get a new mixer as well. This one has its issues, or rather, the cables that I own have their issues. Mystic? No, it shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be any of that. Hey, thanks for the virus. Thanks for the luck. I appreciate that. Daddy's voice is really bad. It's getting a bit weird. I kind of like it though. But it's still the same mic. Does it sound better or worse? That's the question now. More health on this card. Gold ammo too. Yeah, I'm closer to it. Payback's a bitch. Did they see no soft lock there? Yeah. I wish. But I'm talking Ashton. You gotta do the rest. Oh god. There is a moth in my room. What is this shit? I just don't wanna be here. Yeah, it's not fine. Fuck that moth. Yeah, they're working together. Is this Cuphead or some shit? Cause I could easily imagine like a 30s version of those two, like flying around me and shit right now. 30s version of the moth and the mosquito could be another Cuphead boss. Yeah, they're working together, fucking bugs. Boomer just spoiled the Cuphead DLC. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Oh, they're actually drones? You sent? Jesus, Tub, I didn't know. You'd be so cool. That's not nice. such a troll mission right there. I love it though. It's good. And that thing was a big moth too. That's the weirdest part about it. I should really get a net for flies and shit. Hey, bruh, good luck with that sweet, sweet hundo. Okay, yo, thanks 6. Let's go, Ethan. Dude, that thing was a big moth, I'm telling you. It was huge. Yeah, I know it wasn't a copy boss, but it certainly could have been one. Just saying. That's how good it was, man. Electric fly zappers? I should get one of those. Yeah, I know you would. I know. Appreciate it. Hell yeah, respect that. Oh, imagine landing with a couple of things. That would be cool as shit.
Thank you, fellow me sheep. I appreciate that a lot. Just trying to get it good. Follow me, sheep. Okay. Still cool.
Oh my god, I saved myself for Jetboard. I usually do that in all missions, like I instantly die here. Yeah, that was actually a good clutch. Oh shit, I didn't sprint here. Yeah, it's a side mission C7. What was that side mission? I forgot. I know where it is, but let's be cute together. How about that? Let's be all cute, alright? I feel like somebody was like asking me something earlier, and I completely ignored that question. I don't know. How did you show off all your PPs on your channel? You mean the panel down below? That's a Twitch extension that you can activate. Laser actually made it, so go check that out. The boy, the man Laser himself, he made that. Yeah, go check that out. And you can actually add it to your own stream if you like. Choose. Easy, you weren't cute in the first place, so no issue. You don't want to be cute. Happy birthday, Boomer. Go ahead. Alright, Jetboard challenge, let's go. Oh my god, that's probably the most points I've ever gotten for a single trick. I was about to say, so I'm not gonna give you any points, or what? How are you supposed to do this shit, dude? I don't know. I really don't know. Congratulations, you achieved the gold record.
Draw session, draw session, draw session.
Under 6 minutes.
Yes. I love to name my stuff draw session.
Half the orc fucking shit, so. Yeah, okay, fine. Just like 3 I gotta pick up. Yeah, we're on some fucking pace here. Hey, Darren, I really don't know how you're supposed to do this shit. Congrats on the gold. You banned. Penguin, you fucking Negro. What are you doing in here? Dude, there is a zoomer, right? What? Are you kidding me? This is what? What just happened? Hello? Game, are you there? What the fuck? Alright. Alright. Sure. We're taking that. Somebody clip that, by the way.
Personally, I loved TLOU2. It is a bit of it can be conflicting to play it because the story is definitely not like it's hard to say. If you didn't like it, if you end up not liking it, I wouldn't blame you because it's a very conflicting game. It's not a really like linear, straightforward story. But I mean, if you played TLOU1, I would recommend playing TLOU2 because it's good to kind of see where they bring the characters. It's definitely more nuanced. But I liked it. I loved it. And also, if you don't like the story, the gameplay is actually pretty good. If you like the gameplay of the first game, like you'll definitely like love the gameplay here, and it's way better. I have a whole lot I could say about it, but it would just be insane. But I would totally recommend checking out TLOU2. Way more challenging. They're adding a bunch of stuff to it. Like, it's more than worth it. So, Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy with it. I already sold it, so I'm just finishing it up. Trying to finish it up, at least today. And other things with it. This has been a fun one, because I've always had trouble drawing clickers. I just checked out your channel. I was lurking on it. Oh, thank you. That would make an awesome shirt. Yeah, I was checking out your channel. I saw some things like you playing Uncharted, Uncharted 2. Some favorites of mine. I kind of restarted the Uncharted series, but I didn't really continue too far with it. I want to keep going with it. The Uncharted games are pretty sick. Definitely a bit more lighthearted than The Last of Us. But I miss those games. I don't know what it is though, too, like with Naughty Dog games, because I'm doing a bunch of Jack stuff too, and I'm watching a Jack 2 speed run for the hell of it. Naughty Dog's got some cool ass games you can do cool things with. Some broken games too. It's interesting. I think it's there's can't really tell you like what made people really hate it, because I know you don't want spoilers and I don't blame you. But I'd recommend fully, like, just check it out for yourself and be honest with it. It's like, you know, a lot of people hate it for a good reason. Majority of people don't. They hate it for a bad reason. They don't understand why they hate it. But overall, it is another amazing game from the masters of single player story campaigns. For real, like they nailed it, hardcore. And I've been watching Anthony Caliber speedrun it. And among others, a lot of other people have been speedrunning it, and it's pretty insane how they're doing that. I mean, it was just more of like, it definitely was a lot of the hype. I don't know if there was any returns or whatever. And I don't know, like, there's some people I know who, like, haven't, like, finished it, who, like, they started it and they were like, yeah, this is great. And then they got to a point where they were just like, yeah, I'm going to finish it. And we were supposed to discuss it. Like, I was supposed to discuss it with them. And they were just like, they just dropped off the face of the planet and they never really finished it. because it's a rough game. It's way more brutal than the first game. I can tell you that much. It is really, really not for the faint of heart. It did sell a lot of copies though. A lot of copies. Really successful. I don't agree with the petty hate, that's for sure. I don't agree with any of the petty hate. I agree with people who have an honest, like, thought out opinion about it. When they say they don't like it, cool, that's fine. But I don't agree with anybody who's just like, nope, just didn't like it. Just really not for me. It's like, and that's also fine. That's also fine. Honestly, that's also like, that's actually okay. I mean, like, I think I'm more relating to the people who are just like, like this game is garbage, and they have no good reason to say. Really, honestly, the people who really didn't like it really just they didn't get what the whole game was actually about. So that's the big thing. But I would recommend you play it ASAP because it's gonna get to a point where people are just gonna spoil the hell out of it. And it already really has been. So if you've avoided spoilers and like even now, like kudos, kudos to you. I don't know how you did it. With golf. Um, Something to that effect. A lot of people have made fun of that point. Um, but I really didn't see the issue with it. I can understand why it's funny. Like I said, I don't think it's for me it's like I can like I said, it like just really can't say anything um to keep it fresh in your head so that way you can enjoy it or dislike it as naturally as possible, which is the most important thing. Is you want to enjoy or dislike a game as naturally as possible. You don't want to have any kind of outside um, influence because it could really kill your first playthrough and really kill your first time and all that other jazz. But yeah, I think really just just try it out. You'll understand where the golfing reference comes from immediately. Um, and it's it's cool. It's a game. Also, it's like it's also a long game. So that's the other thing. It's like this is a 30-hour game that will test your patience. So you really, really need to like just stick with it, to get the full engagement of it. Because there's like I think what would mostly make you enjoy it most would be to just go in without the expectations that you might have been given via trailers or anything really. Just open up and understand that it's going to be a very different story, and that's really it. That's really it. I can't really say much else without uh, spoiling and all that stuff. But I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll enjoy the hell out of it, personally. It most certainly should be on PS5. I think it'll be on PS5 because on PS5 we're going to be getting 60 frames per second, which people have already kind of like made edits of like slow motion gameplay of TLOU2 and then sped it up times two. So it basically, or yeah, I believe times two, or just they just sped it up to normal speed, and it was 60 frames per second, and it looked incredible. Graphic and like all the, it's just it has the patterns that the original game went through, where it released at the end of the console cycle, and not only that, when it released after that, like PS4 came out, and then eventually it was remastered with a whole bunch of cool stuff and everything else. Like, if it's anything to go by, if it's like the patterns or anything to go by, we are going to get a remaster on PS5, and it's going to be really good. And it's going to be crazy for speedrunning, because like that's where like the real game's going to be like laid out, like the real competition and everything. It's going to be absolutely sick. Because right now it's like it looks beautiful. It's a beautiful looking game, but like on the PS5, it's gonna look like a freaking monument. Like it's gonna be beautiful. That and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Can't wait for that. But that's a whole another story. PS5 is gonna be like gonna have to save up for that ASAP, because I do want that. I think it'll get a PS. It'll definitely get a remaster, no doubt, without a doubt. Um, they've already, you know, Naughty Dog does listen to its fans a lot, especially like they listen to the speedrunning community recently by adding seconds to the in-game timer. Like there's been a lot added. That's the thing too, is like you're gonna know how long you've been playing that game and how long it took you to get through that game. This is going on a lot better than I thought it would. Um, well, I don't know if it's still up there. I think you can get like lot. I don't know if they still have it. Like Lost Legacy, um, you can possibly get it on PlayStation, the PlayStation Store, PlayStation Now, which is a subscription. So if you don't have that, you wouldn't get that. But Lost Legacy is definitely going to be cheaper. But like I would recommend totally like splurging on TLOU2. You get a longer game. You're gonna get more content. Um, the story, in my opinion, the story is better. It might, you might not agree. It's a weird. It's like I said, it's definitely a different game story wise. Um, but TLOU TLOU2 definitely has a better story, a more interesting story. Lost Legacy also has a good story, but it's just not as interesting. It definitely, if you love if you love Uncharted games, that's it's a no brainer there. But you know that's totally on your own personal taste. But my money would be on TLOU2. You just get way more for your buck. Which I mean, right now I think. Lost Legacy is definitely worth the price. I think it's cheaper now, but yeah. Like that's just my personal preference. Um, go for whatever you're feeling. TLOU2 definitely in my mind was well worth it. Even if you don't end up liking the story, a lot of the set pieces are really intense. There's a lot of fun to be had. Like straight up, I would totally back that. A little more uniform with the rest of the crown. Any drawing tips? Well, the basic thing I can say is really just draw. Um, if you, because I don't know what level you'd necessarily be at, but um, you know, drawing is basically just it's for me. For me, it was like just literally I sat down like starting this current journey. All right, let me start here. Starting this current journey of illustration and trying to make something out of it and really like do anything worth a damn. Really just started with me uh, getting bored when the power went out in my state. And I grabbed a notebook, like a little writing like college rule notebook, and I took a ballpoint pen and I just started scribbling monsters into it because I used to like drawing monsters, and I just tried to do something weird, and it came out pretty meh, but I still liked it, and I dug it, and I just kept drawing and scribbling and doing not so great things, um, and I kept following it, and I kept discovering new artists, and a lot of times I would just go in and just copy. I would just copy stuff, which not like copy for verbatim, but I would like look at the styles and see what kind of style I want to go for. And that's evolved over time because I've been doing it for a while now, and it's evolved. It's evolved so much because you find different inspirations and different artists to kind of like gather your wisdom and teachings from. I personally, I like to use colored pencils. Just grab a pen or whatever. Like literally, if you don't have any other like stuff to like use, if you don't have colored pencils or anything, I mean, at least have some like ballpoint pens, and just like find a good book on anatomy or whatever the case may be, whatever you want to like look at. Good books on anatomy or drawing figures, and just start practicing. Um, you know, like literally just start practicing. Just learn a lot of the fundamentals. I didn't always go that route. And you don't always have to. If you're gonna draw a comic, I'm pretty sure you'd want to understand the human form, or at least like something close to it, or even like depending on your style. It really just like depends on the style you want to do. But other than that, it's like literally just start out drawing, and once you kind of get a rough idea of how to do things, just start learning some more. Figure out where you can learn more, because legitimately, I don't usually draw stuff like this. I usually don't draw anything that is like in pop culture, stuff like that. But I've been challenging myself more to actually draw more in pop culture and existing kind of media stuff. So it's always going to be something where you're just always learning and always trying to be better than yourself the previous day. Which doesn't always happen. Sometimes you are worse than you were yesterday. That happens a lot to me. But that's okay. So literally just pick up a ballpoint pen or something, or just pick up any kind of utensil to draw and just suck at it and, see how fun it is. It's legitimately a lot of fun, and you find yourself wanting to do better. So I would totally recommend you check it out. Try to do stuff. That's literally like it. I wish I could offer you different, more. What's the word? I wish I could offer you like more like precise basic tips, but that's a tough one. It's a tough one to teach and to talk about. But like I said, I think if you just do that, give that a shot. So basically, I guess like in a short term, just pick up a pen and draw. Just pick it up and draw. Just give it a shot. Learn how it works. Learn how it feels, how it reacts in your hands, everything. I have learned over time how these pencils react in my hand, to the pressure I apply, everything. And sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't. So, like I said, it's just pick up pencils, pick up anything, and just suck at it and enjoy. I have a podcast for creators too, that you can check out if you want. It's on Anchor, Spotify. If you look up my username, Maniac, you can definitely check it out. And basically, it's on like kind of. I've released 2 episodes. Well, thank you. Thank you, as always. I appreciate that. And, it did. It takes time. So don't, I guess that biggest thing I could say is don't get impatient with it. It's something that you kind of have to stick with and, nurture. And, if you really want to do it, cool. But don't feel bad about, the way you create. Don't feel bad if you don't make something that might not stand up to professionals, and don't feel bad if you, have a little more trouble learning. That's my biggest thing is just get out there, just create, and just enjoy yourself. That's what it is, really. Because I can tell you this much, if I had the dedication to make a comic, I would. Excellent. Some of it's just ranting and stuff, but I started doing stuff that's more geared towards artists. There was some early stuff that's more like politically charged, but that was also when I was on Facebook. So that's the thing, you know, is don't ever let that discourage you, because honestly, like, if you enjoy it, if you enjoy doing something, you know, there is no need to live up to anyone, really. There's no need to live up to any other human being except yourself, you know? Like, I literally look at how I do things, and this is how I do. This is how I live up. I live up to myself. I really don't live up to anybody else. The big thing that makes this easier for me, I guess, is that really I just don't have other people in my space. You know, I don't really have people trying to, you know, do art like this or do art in my space. So I guess for, you know, in your case, I mean, it's just more of like, really like, you know, do you enjoy it? You know, where's your space at? And if it ends up being in a space where you can draw and enjoy yourself, like, excellent. Like, that should be what matters the most, is, you know, being cool with existing in that space. Because you're always going to have somebody who's better at you with everything. Like, always. Everything I want to dabble into has people who are way better than me at things, including art. And there are always going to be that. There's always going to be that. There's always going to be people who want things more than you. There's always going to be something. So really, just fuck them. Fuck it all and just do what you want. And, you know, just the biggest thing, too, on a positive aspect to really make it a more positive light is really just be supportive of your family, which I'm sure you are already. And, you know, just be cool. Like, just be cool. It's like, hell yeah. And if they're better at it than you are, and if they're, like, super good at it, you know, ask them for advice. Like, you know, don't create a too many cooks in the kitchen vibe, because that can be a problem in itself. But, you know, just go for it, you know? Fuck it. I love just sitting here just drawing. If I'm not drawing, I'm playing video games. If I'm not playing video games, I'm drawing. Like, that's my life. That's literally how I exist. So, straight up, you know, that's how I would say to go about things. You know, just exist in the space you want to exist in. And it's not always easy, you know. It's like we have work and stuff, you know. That's the big thing. You know, there's a lot to it. There's a lot more to things than just sitting down and just doing whatever. But, you know, if you want to do stuff like this, you know, all you got to do is just do it. Oil painting's a whole crazy beast. You see, the reason I use colored pencils is because painting never came to me. And that's something I want to try to, remedy over time. That's my own little kind of idea of like, let's try and do something else. But I know oil painting can be a pretty intense medium. I still to this day don't know how people do it so well. And I can imagine your sister is very good at it, so kudos. That's the best thing. Is like the best resource, is having family who's like gonna show you stuff. And like and continue to just draw how you want to do. Like do what you want to do. Just create things. Don't be held back by anybody or anything. Don't be discouraged by others, because that's the biggest no-no. The world is going to hammer down on you as it is because you are an artist. And if you want to do better as an artist, you just gotta hammer back and kill it. It should be the Maniac podcast. Let me see if I can even look it up. Here, hold on. I'm trying to type it into you for you. But of course now my computer's having a shit show. Well, this is good. Everything's shutting down. Cool. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. I'm kind of a dork, but I do love to talk about things and that I love, and I appreciate that. And please do, if you can check out any future streams and share it around to support, and I'll follow you so I can maybe hit up one of your streams as well. See what's going on. You seem pretty cool yourself. Hopefully, you don't mind my ranting on my podcast, so you'll stick around. The more art-focused podcasts are generally cooler. Oh. Sorry, I'm trying to... My computer. I think it's because I tried to, force quit this shit. Because my browser pretty much, I do live in the States, yes. Whereabouts are you? And no need for specifics if you don't like that. That's okay. But yes, I live in the States. New Delhi in India. That's cool. What is that like? I'm actually kind of interested because I don't travel much. But it does always interest me. And what pretty much what brought you there? I mean, that's interesting, especially in these times. It's an experience. So I've heard. I've heard some intense things. Of all kinds of things, too. It's like, it's not just like insanity. It's actually pretty cool. But it sounds like it's cool. Oh, okay. Where'd you move from? If you don't let me asking. Oh, wow. New York. I was say, you got out of New York just in time. India does have a lot of history to it, though. You prefer do you prefer New York or well, you've lived there for a few years, so I'd say you probably prefer India at this point. Hopefully, at least. That would. Yeah, I can imagine with really anything. But that's still like really cool cuz honestly, I I don't think I've ever really been outside of the United States. I really haven't. Which I don't have too much of an issue with at this point, but definitely before I kick the bucket, it'd be nice.
Shit, I didn't turn vibrations off. Now it's gonna be awkward.
Just need to know where to look. What does that mean? Like to keep out of the bad places, or just like for cool sights?
Why are you torturing myself? And I'm getting
Okay.
told of the future.
Yeah, I've heard of that scariness. That's kind of like a almost like a window into how any place could really be. Is they make they make people poor and then they hoard the wealth, and then you have some really rich people and really poor people, and the divide is insane. And that's really insane.
I don't think it's too awful to play on. I've seen worse.
Like really insane. I don't know how.
For Jack 1, I don't see a reason to change the game. Queen 3 might be like that. Loads. Man, I suck at the start. The humble start is the easiest.
That's what's scary. Is like it's like the, and I don't really have like a. I try not to be too like crazy radical, uh, uh, politician minded person, and saying like, oh, the middle class is disappearing. We're gonna be, like I don't like to have like a doomsday idea of it things, but I always thought about that, like, the middle class disappearing all around, like how there's no middle class in certain areas, like it creates a heavy divide, and it is scary, but this is where drawing and being artistic and indulging in things you like comes in. It's like fuck it, don't have money, but that's okay. That's gotta suck though. Hopefully you're in a good place though.
fucking easy on PS4. Especially the one,
I think I've heard that before. So like, I can imagine it's got to be like
the longitude.
really, really interesting. Like all the people you get to meet, all the different lives you get to kind of like check out. Like that sounds really cool.
That would be nice having a video on all of the categories, like all of the games and how they're different. Although, I would suggest you make sure to talk to a couple of people before that have a lot of knowledge about the technical stuff, or at least like let them give you some evidence to back up what you're saying before, at least for backing your argument. All right, cool, cool, cool. I'm not saying like, oh yeah, don't make a. I didn't claim you're like make a shitty video or something.
Hmm. Do you? So do you like? Are you able to speak any Hindi, or have any kind of idea what you're doing there,
Have some
or do you kind of just like wing it?
my biggest concern about this game right now. My three biggest concerns. Okay, check with. Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's kind of who I was referring to. But also when it comes to like resolution and stuff, like I don't know if you want to be talking about that type of thing.
Well, that's
Do
good.
have some evidence about what you're saying, like
Yeah, you know they call America the melting pot, but from what I'm hearing from what you're saying, it seems like they're the real melting pot there,
what internal
and that is
resolution
cool.
is at and what the renders run at.
I can dig on that.
That's when you're talking shit stuff.
But that's good. At least you have like resources, like people who can help you. Because I'd be lost as hell.
My biggest complaint about this game as of right now would be the limited range you have with the limited range you have with the analog sticks. Because I mean, you probably noticed before in the how like we don't haven't sent you a video on this, but I sent you our video on. You only have like 8 directions you can walk into if you're slow walking. And on 16 or 24 when you're fully going forward. On PlayStation 2, it's seamless. There's no. It's perfectly transition boost.
I can imagine that's a good thing.
Easy.
I tell you, that's what we need more of. Honestly, man. Honestly, is more people who appreciate the world,
It's hard to explain.
and I can appreciate you appreciating the world, especially in these times and with what's going on. So
The one that I'm
I'm
having
really glad that it actually does that for you, because that's actually really
you'll
beautiful.
notice in a second here is lag. It has a crap ton of lag in a couple of areas. I would say
That's got to
that's
be that's got to be cool. Always having something to talk about, always being around cool people, like that's cool.
and then the third one would be there not being an option to invert the camera controls again. Also, I'm getting dropped inputs every once in a while, and I feel like there is a little bit of input delay input lag. You're right there. I was like, good fucking lag.
I can imagine there being a lot of intense competition. But I mean, that's still not bad. But I can imagine it's still cool though. At least it's like at least it's making you appreciate things because you know it's very rare to find that kind of thing nowadays. But either way.
Oh, by the way, Six Rod, I would recommend you don't say that, or like if the inverted camera is a reason for you not to run the game, I would actually scrap that. I wouldn't put that on the list because that's a thing of getting used to. Like that's just a matter of getting used to. Once you adjust to it a little bit, you're gonna be fine. I wouldn't say don't run this with the inverted camera. The non-inverted camera. It is an issue. It could be an issue, especially if you're coming from PS2 and you want to stay on PS2. I can see the issue. I can see it being an issue. Yeah, I wouldn't be saying though like, oh yeah, don't run this because the camera is normalized. Yeah, I personally wouldn't. I personally wouldn't say don't run it because of the
And if there's one thing I am not good at is geography.
yeah. See,
But it is nice to know that India is kind of like around other countries. What is it? What is it closest to?
that is a good way to put it.
And
This may only affect the
I
experience
can
of the
imagine that's
player
kind of cool, like being able to visit all these cool
at this
countries.
point. Why are you watching the video when you're already experienced?
Like, what a nifty way to,
You could say
what a nifty
if you're new to
existence.
the Jack series, this is a problem that might not affect you at all. Like you could easily play the game. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. Again, I don't want to like crawl up the new camera. I don't want to fall off the new camera's ass, but it's actually the better scheme, especially for a lot of games. Yo, Nate, what's up? All set green for you. Like my reasoning, again, I have this huge conspiracy theory going on that I'm gonna reveal right here. I think I talked about this before actually. I feel like they changed the camera settings. They adjusted the camera settings to
Wow,
use a bigger
that's
aperture.
cool.
And not just that, I feel it's this version that we're having right here, the one that we just got,
Lucky,
is
blessed.
better
I mean,
with
that's good for you.
much bigger font.
That is really awesome. Australia is on one of my
PlayStation 4.
is on my to do list because I have a one of my best friends who lives there, and I definitely want to head out there and visit and party and whatnot to enjoy that.
This game that we just got right here, the
Um,
base game,
so good for you. I'm really glad that you got to do that.
inverted camera. Why did they? Also, why exactly like inverted camera? Why design it this way? I also feel like it's marketing strategy. They want you to get in there into their Naughty Dog games, into the games that are already in the store. And if you're new to this, completely new, and you're starting out and you're having these non-invert, or you're having these actual inverted controls where meaning you stick left means you turn you pan the camera to the right. So I feel like that's gonna throw you off as like a maybe a newcomer. And when you have played games like Uncharted before, or maybe other games, The Last of Us, even Metal Gear Solid. I'm gonna mention Metal Gear Solid here because Metal Gear Solid is also quite hits, but Metal Gear Solid also has a couple of. I had a lot of issue playing that game because I had to use inverted camera for
The
walking around the
resorts in
world,
Maldives.
and when it came to aiming down the sights,
What's that like?
I was sort of forced to use
What are the resorts like?
left, right camera controls. So to prevent any confusion, again to make you get into their games a bit more, they changed the camera. It's a little bit of a conspiracy theory. I'm not conspiracy necessarily, but just try to piece. Yo, hello. Obviously, can't confirm or deny any of this, but those are just my personal. This is what I think is going to happen in season 2 generally. What I am planning on doing, although this may sound very silly, I'm gonna make it with email. I'm gonna send the mail. I'm gonna send the mail over to Sony support and be like, hey, those are a couple of issues that uh, a lot of people have
Nice blue
complained about.
water.
Whenever you remaster or something like that. Tell me if
That
I'm wrong.
sounds really good.
I'm not
Honestly.
confident about this.
I'll have to look it
It's
up.
just a
Let me
whole,
look it up real quick here. Maldives.
but just something else. All right, hey, these are
Ooh.
that
Wow. Just the Google searches.
these are issues that
Damn.
could
That looks really good. That would be nice. Oh, if only I could afford that, let me tell you.
I don't think they can do much about the
Just
lag.
need to sell
The lag is just what it
a
is.
few hundred more of these originals that I do. That looks cool though. Good for you, man. Going there, like, uh, really dope.
This world is correct, although may seem a bit silly. The gold is right because this is the first time I'm splitting this.
I'm glad to know that they're real, because
Multi inputs.
if they were doctored in any way, that would be so disappointing. But I'm glad I have some actual confirmation that they're actually legit. Because now I want to go.
Got the Obi earlier, right? So should be fine. I'm gonna have to look at the log now. AKS, I helped out. Hey man, like, thank you so much for testing the perspective out. Also, for circle. Well, you can play on PS4 if you really want to. On PS3 if you really want to. I don't know. I just feel like
Get to go to Oman.
it's easier.
A varsity team. A varsity team. What sport
Certain fields that
and
certain
what
fields of
school?
studies, due to the new
Oh, that's a
controls,
bummer. Not this
the
year.
like fluid control scheme, it feels a little bit like because some things you can like set up reusable. I don't like that. It's a bit old. How do you do that super uppercut spin attack? Hey Angel. You do it by walking off of the ledge.
That'd be crazy though. I mean, hey, you know, it was always next year,
And as we sign off, we will now prepare for the next game.
always next year, and so on and so forth. Unless, of course, I mean, it's the end of the road. But hey, you know, that's all things happen for a reason, as far as I'm concerned.
I'll probably get a chance to show you later.
So,
So I forgot to enter that something I wanted to do with the controller input. Tune good man. Nice to
that
meet
would
you.
be cool. Well, I hope you can get it. I hope you can get on the team next year if that's a possibility. Because that would be a really cool opportunity. A really cool opportunity.
Or is it just like
Personally, I've never been good at sports. Clearly, because I've developed my skills here. But I applaud you if you have the skills.
good stuff? Let's see. Oh, you're. Oh, okay. I thought you actually said you. I thought you actually are from the US. No, wait. No, from the US. Okay.
I like that. I like
I
that.
get it now. Sorry. I probably like messed up.
Eyes on the prize. That's cool though.
I'm digging these new sizes.
I like that. What sports are you trying out?
That's so cool. Really enjoying it. Anti-Peter. If the name is available. This Mason. I'm paired with a
There's
Mason
probably other
because
ways, you know, for you to
he does
travel and
pieces. And the reason I
go
chose
for it.
Mason is because I doesn't live with him anymore.
I know. I know some friends of mine who, you know, they try to make a business out of it. I don't know how well it's going necessarily, but you know, yeah, there are people every day who do that stuff. They like travel for
All right. Well then I would recommend changing it, but I would recommend changing it to something
wrestling.
more specific.
Wrestling. Oh man, I used to wrestle.
I would
That's the one sport I used to do.
I identify with that.
One sport I used to do was wrestling, and wrestling is 6 minutes of absolute intense hell.
Yeah, it's very annoying.
But
But
all the more worth it.
you know, I get it.
Your body will get the workout of a lifetime, let me tell you.
There might be a partnership with Twitch, and at that point I can change it to whatever
But, you know, hey, if you want to do it, cool.
is available, and then I'll give my best to change it to more like it. My plan is
It's worth it, honestly. I like wrestling. I didn't like my coach. I thought he was a creep. But
so long enough
I
to
did enjoy I did enjoy the wrestling aspect. I was really good at getting up out of in a starting position. There's some creepy aspects about wrestling, but ultimately it is a cool sport that really like really tests your body out.
it did. I agree here. Anti-Peter. Oh boy. Hey, Anti-Peter, what's up? I mean, Anti-Peter too. Again, it's fun.
I recommend checking it out because literally, um, yeah, wrestling is. That's the thing. Honestly, it's like I can understand you want to utilize some sports to travel. Um, Wrestling is definitely an intense one to choose because there are some dedicated guys in there, and it is legitimately. Um, and then my dad's cousin was the Albanian Roman wrestling champ. Really? Jesus. That sounds intense. Honestly, like, check it out. Like, I I liked it as far as a physical sport went. It was really intense. Um, but like I said, like it'll work you out and it'll do the trick. Um, but fuck it, try it. See how it goes. Um, it'll definitely work you out. Definitely work you out.
Personally, I'm always a fan of having the name that you want to be at the front. Like whatever you want to be called, put that in front, and then put the other stuff in the back. Like for instance, I'm gonna call Cody Manusa. I'm gonna call Cody, because Cody like the first thing I'm reading when I see the name. Nate, I would call original. Or when it comes to the one and only Paul, I know that his name Paul. I've seen it several times before, but it took me some time to like figure out what it actually means. Steve, and then like the number one, like the one and only Paul.
Well, all the people who do wrestling in my school are 17-year-old bodybuilders, tallest, chunkiest boys, and I'm short and stout. Hey man, I'm telling you, I'm short and stout myself. I did it. Um, Really, honestly, it's with wrestling, it's skill over anything because you're gonna be put in a weight class if you do wrestling. You get put in a weight class, and so like depending on what on your weight, you could end up doing really well if you have like some power to you, and you're smaller. But uh, you know, honestly, what it comes down to, what I realized ultimately, and why I wasn't dedicated was because you really gotta, you know, beef up on the skills and on the techniques and stuff far more than you'd imagine. It's because that's where the real magic comes in. Like you could go up against somebody who is like scrawny and like looks like they're not threatening, but they really are just if they're skilled, they're gonna take you out. Um, which hey, that's if that's what it's comes down to. That's what it comes down to. But I like that's what I liked about it was like I didn't win a lot of them because I didn't deserve it. I didn't have my techniques down. So that's like the main thing. Um,
That's why I'm like playing this a lot lately. That was he's with the Pelicans. I mean, you could also call yourself Pelican Peter, but then people might call you Pelican instead of Peter. So I feel like, dude, Pelican Peter is pretty cool though. I like that name. To be honest though,
Honestly, though, I'm wondering like are the sports back in session for that's gonna that's probably gonna backfire on them eventually. 'Cause that's the big thing about wrestling to me is that I realized also that I failed to realize while I was in high school, but I've realized now more than ever is that it is about discipline and not power. So fuck him if he's a bully. Um, but that happens to people sometimes. He's like, oh, I learned these techniques and now I'm going to use them for evil. That's terrible. I hope that's a really shitty thing to do. I don't agree with that at all.
Children's book, there's always some type of thing to learn behind it, out of it. There's a reason the story exists in the first place.
It is. Well, especially how nuanced a lot of movies are nowadays. He's gonna grow up and he's gonna be a bully and he's gonna be doing all these negative things, and then that's gonna really fuck with him in the end. That's the problem. Everybody thinks they're top fucking dog till they meet their fucking match. And then, big trouble. So I'll just remember that shit. Like he's gonna try to take people's money and be an asshole. Guess what? That doesn't pay off in the long run. Some words of advice from Maniac, I guess. But yeah. No bullying. No bullying. We don't bully. I used to get bullied all the time when I was a kid. You force kids to buy them. It's going to be a lonely kid, let me tell you. Kids like that, they own that space, and then what do? They think they're okay. They think they've got it all figured out, and then they don't. I don't know. I can't really judge. That's really kind of a bully thing to do anyway. Hopefully he does find his peace, Alright, the wimpy kid. Hopefully, he figures out the darkness that's going on inside him and, understands that that's not right. That really, like, you might have power and you might have these new skills and you got to use them properly. You can't just, go off and bully people. It's not right. Yeah, Diarrhea Wimpy Kid too. I've never seen those movies, but I've heard that they're atrocious. Can anybody confirm? Good thing I don't get bullied that much. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you don't get bullied. Because getting bullied is crap. Nobody deserves to get bullied. Shouldn't get bullied. No bullying. No bullying. Everybody just exist. Peace with the popular kids. I don't know if I ever really made peace with my quote unquote popular kids, but I'm glad that at least you have. That's a good place to start. I don't miss the cliques of high school though, let me tell you. So whoever has the most money is the most popular. That sounds awful. Do you think that's fair? I don't think that's fair. Ultimately, though, that kind of popular stuff, yeah, because they buy people food and stuff. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, it really is whatever. Honestly, high school is so. Uh, high school is just so pointless. Um, there is a lot of point to it, but it's just so pointless. I don't know. I've never really considered my feelings about high school, but I do know that I don't miss it whatsoever. Not at all. I do not miss high school in any way.